Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Joe Luca Real Estate Show. I am Joe, and I am your host every Tuesday evening right here on WNRI 99.9 on the FM dial, 1380 on the AM dial, and of course, we are always streaming on WNRI.com. No paywall or firewall or anything over there to prohibit you or make it more difficult to listen to us streaming at WNRI.com. A little bit about me. I am a realtor. I work at a company called Remax, and I help people buy and sell homes. I've been doing it since 2006, and I love what I do. Quick shout out to Compass Title and Escrow. Anthony Betancourt and his team do a great job taking care of our clients when they're buying or selling, even if it's something challenging like a short sale, which they've been working on diligently for several months. And of course, Vern Rainville, Public Insurance Adjuster. Vern is licensed by the state of Rhode Island to be a public insurance adjuster, which means he works for you, the property owner, not the insurance company. That's Vern Rainville. 484-300-8495. If you give him a call, he will get back to you in 24 hours, and he'll answer any questions you have about your claim or what you think may be a claim. Even if it didn't just happen, if it was 6, 12 months ago, he could still be able to help you. But you have to give him a call to find out. And again, it doesn't cost anything to call and find out what the deal is at 484-300-8495. Vern will get back to you within 24 hours. And yes, he is a Rhode Island guy, even though he doesn't have a Rhode Island area code. 484-300-8495. So, the hot news, the thing that everybody's talking about is the government shutdown. Excuse me. Now, I've been talking about this the past several weeks. Okay, I think this is the 28th or 29th day that the government has been shut down. And, this is one of those things that it directly impacts certain aspects of home buying. For example, if you are buying a home and you need flood insurance, you're not going to be able to do it. Excuse me. The flood insurance, National Flood Insurance Protection Program, they're closed. While the government's closed, you can't get it. If you have a policy, if you already own your home and your policy is expiring, you're not going to be able to renew it with the NFIP. So folks, you've got to call our senators. We have two senators. The Rhode Island senators are Democrats, and call their office and let them know that you want them to vote to open the government. Okay, I did it this morning. I called, Senator Jack Reed, phone number 401-528-5200. The office is probably closed now, but take the number down, 401-528-5200, to give Senator Jack Reed a call. And then you can also give Senator Sheldon Whitehouse a call at 401-453-5294. Sheldon Whitehouse, 401-453-5294. And just say, hey, we want you to open the government. Okay? We have a lot of people that are going to be very upset soon when they can't get their SNAP checks. Okay? People rely on that to live. I have friends who work for the government. They're essentially now, they've received their last paycheck, they're going to be working for free. Excuse me. So please give our two senators a call tomorrow, and it's nothing big. Just identify yourself. They'll ask your address, where you live in Rhode Island, and just tell them you want them to open the government. They voted 13 times before this to keep the government open or open the government with a CR, a continuing resolution. But for some reason this time they're not voting to do that. So, tell them to put politics aside, just do what's right, and open the government. Because while people who work for the government, folks like you and me, who may work for the government, the small guy, we're not getting paid, but everybody in Congress is still getting paid. So they need to put up or shut up, and I think it would be a lot easier if they just voted yes to reopen the government so people could get paid, and then people could buy houses. You know, I mean, if you need to get flood insurance, which, hey, we're on the coast, there are a lot of people who buy houses that require flood insurance. You're not going to be able to close on your house. So please, and I've said this all the time, stay engaged. Pay attention to what's going on. The politicians, they usually do not hear from us, the voters, unless it's a big issue. Second Amendment or abortion. Everything else, no one ever calls. Oh, they're not going to listen to me. Well, yeah, if you don't call, they're definitely not going to listen to you. So call White House's office, call Jack Reed's office tomorrow. Let them know that you want them to open the government. Okay? All right, that being said, so kind of a little bit of general information on what's going on in the market. Okay? So there have been some mortgage trends. 30-year fixed rate mortgages, according to Mortgage News Daily, are at 6.13%. That's a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, which is low, okay? The peak for 2025 was 7.79. So we are well below that now. 30-year FHA 5.89, 30-year VA 5.90. Now that VA mortgage, even though it's 1/100% higher than the FHA, it's a better product because there's no money down and there's no PMI, there's no private mortgage insurance. So if you're active military or you are a veteran, you should try to get the VA product because it's a really good loan. And as you can tell, the conventional rate is 6.13 and the VA is 5.9. So you're saving yourself, 14.14% just by going with that VA product. Okay, so rates have been trending down. Okay, they adjusted down last week. It's widely expected that the Fed is going to lower interest rates again. Now, the Fed does not control mortgage rates. Mortgage rates are directly impacted or directly respond to inflation rates, what the 10-year Treasury is doing, and the only time mortgages are impacted by Fed rates is when the Fed lowers rates, everybody gets all excited and goes out and tries to get pre-approved for a mortgage, which is fine. But many people misunderstand the relationship between the Fed funds rate and mortgage rates. And if you're talking to someone and they're telling you that they're directly related, okay, run the other way because they're not directly related. The Fed does not control mortgage rates. Okay. So the Fed, they're expected to cut the benchmark rate again this week. Typically, they cut it 25 basis points last month in September, and they're expected to do that again now. This is largely in response to slowing job growth and persistent, though not high, inflation. Okay. Now in September it rose to 0.3%, which it rose 0.3%, which is a 3% annual rate. Since September, a lot of things have come down in price. The price of a lot of food items have already dropped, and of course, we've all experienced the drop in fuel, gasoline, and home heating oil have also come down significantly since September. So that's going to at least correct itself and probably even drop more to a low point lower than it was before September. Now, a rate cut could further ease mortgage costs down the road, but what that does is when the Fed funds drops their rate, what it also does is it makes the rate charged on short-term debt, credit cards, personal loans, car loans, those rates also drop. So sometimes people can realize lower payments on other parts of their budget. So that makes it easier for those to be paid down and to save more money for your mortgage down payment or for your monthly mortgage payment. So we only have so much disposable income every month. If you're spending 25% of your income on credit cards and car loans, and then you can get that down from 25% to 20%, well, that's an extra 5% of your monthly income that can go towards your mortgage expense, okay, your household expense, your roof over your head expense. So that's an indirect way that the reduction in the mortgage rates can affect mortgages. It doesn't affect the rates, but it can affect mortgages because it makes it easier for people to qualify for more house, okay, because they can pay down their other debts. Their monthly expenses on other debts is lower, okay? So if you're holding a mortgage right now and you're in the 7 to 8% range, refinancing, now to the lower rates that we have, which are the the 6.13 or the 5.89, could save you hundreds of dollars per month. So if you have a $500,000 mortgage at 8%, that's about $3,669 a month. At 6.19%, okay, that's $3,059 a month. That's a $600 a month savings. So if you have a rate that starts with a 7, or definitely an 8, reach out to a mortgage lender to see what you could get if you were to refinance. Now, the rates offered on refinancing are different than what are called purchase mortgages, which is a mortgage used to buy a home. However, it doesn't cost anything to find out. So I would suggest you give a call to one of my preferred mortgage lenders. If it's Dave Campagnon over at Bank 5, and hold on, let me pull up Dave's phone number. If we have a moment here, I will share his phone number with you because Dave does a great job. They have a lot of mortgage products over there. His phone number is 413-9619. That's 401-413-9619. Dave Campagnon, he's a loan officer. If your mortgage is in the 7 or 8% range, give Dave a call. Maybe he can, maybe he can't save you some money every month. And he'll go over everything. He'll explain, look, if he'll say, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, if you were to refinance at what you can get for a rate right now, it's really not going to save you that much money after you factor in the different costs, et cetera, et cetera. He'll be honest with you, okay? But that's what I like about Dave, because he does a really good job like that. Another one of my preferred lenders is Jeff Gaccione. Jeff, he's helped me with get some of my buyers here in the Woonsocket area. 401-419-6734. That's Jeff Gaccione, Gaccione. He's at Embrace Home Loan. He does a great job too, 401-419-6734. So, Jeff Gaccione, Dave Campagnon, two paisans, I just realized that. It's, you can find out if it makes sense to refinance your current mortgage, okay? So, it could be a big savings. So just pay attention. A lot of times what we do is people just kind of like sail along. They don't check things, and you may not realize savings that you could have, so you could help yourself out. Okay. Now, some of the market drivers are, and I mentioned a minute ago, 10-year Treasury yields. These heavily influence mortgage rates, and these rates have dipped to their lowest levels this year. Excuse me. So a 10-year Treasury yield, that's a U.S. government Treasury note that is 10 years, okay? So the term is 10 years. If you were to, essentially what you're doing is you're giving the government money, you're letting the government borrow money, and they're paying you interest on it. And the interest they're paying you on it right now is about 3.95 to 3.99. So that rate is lower than it has been. It's been in the 4s for a real long time. So that bodes well for mortgage rates coming up. Now, investor sentiment is cautious, okay? I always say this, the housing market, just like the many other markets, is cautious, does not like uncertainty. There are a lot of things that are going on right now in the headlines that could contribute to a feeling of uncertainty. What's going on with the tariffs? What's going on with the government closure? What's going on with interest rates? What's going on with the economy? Okay, they're talking about layoffs. Okay, there was news this morning when I was watching Maria Bartiromo. 14,000 people are getting pink slips at Amazon, and that could go up to 30,000. I read elsewhere. So that's a lot of people. Now, is that going to affect us around here? I mean, we do have the distribution center in Johnston. There's another one in Massachusetts. So maybe these are the things to pay attention to, because they could impact the psyche of the marketplace. Okay, if you're thinking about buying a home and you see all of these headlines that, layoffs are coming, you're going to think, maybe I should wait, maybe I'm going to get laid off, or maybe I should wait because maybe that's going to cause a crash in the market. People don't like uncertainty. Tariffs. Okay, the jury's still out on tariffs in the eyes of the mainstream media. Okay, if you kind of drill down, we're starting to realize definite positive results from the tariffs, but they haven't worked their way into the economy at large yet. But long term, that's definitely going to be a positive for the economy, because those are monies coming into the government, into the country, from outside the country. Historically, the money that the government collects comes from inside the government, which is not ideal. Okay. So hopefully the tariffs will continue to improve. We've been collecting record amounts of money every month. So that's one thing that's something that people are unsure about. Okay, not everybody is optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic, but as optimistic about the tariffs as I am. They don't know. There's always seems like now there's always some segment of the population talking about, foreclosures are increasing, foreclosures are up. That could give some people low information home buyers, that could give them the sense that the market is weak. Well, I can tell you professionally, the market is not weak. Let me see if I can pull it up right now while we're on air. If the number of foreclosures doubled, okay, it would be a very low percentage of what we have. So if it goes from 0.5, let's say it's 1% of all homes, and it goes to 2%, that's still very low. Yes, it is a 100% increase, okay, but it's a very low number of homes. Okay, so let's see. Right now, what I want to do, I'm just logging into MLS while we're on the air, and let's see. So we're going to look up the entire state of Rhode Island. We're going to look at homes that are bank-owned. And there are 14 homes that are bank-owned, single-family homes bank-owned in Rhode Island, out of 1,260. Okay, so that's a little bit over 1%. 1% would be 12.6 homes, and we're at 14. And, folks, I just want to, again, look at the prices of these 14 foreclosed homes, these 14 single-family foreclosed homes. And as we saw last week, let's see, The least expensive one is 219,000. Oh no, wait, hold on. Is $175,000. I believe that's a different one from last week. No, it's not. Same one. So yes, so that's $175,000. It's you know, not a year-round house. The most expensive house that's foreclosed in the entire state of Rhode Island is $775,000, and that's in Little Compton. Okay, that is a 4-bedroom, 1-bath. That's interesting. 4 bedrooms, only 1 bathroom. That must be fun in the morning. It's an 1,800 square foot house, built in 1927. And let's see, it's a nice property. It's got a decent amount of land on it, but the house is kind of a hot mess. There's a lot of stuff there that needs to be cleared out. Yeah, it says cash buyers only, so it apparently does need some work. But it's almost an acre of land, 0.86 acres. House is in significant disrepair. So that's $775,000. Good grief. You're paying for the land there. And it says subject to clear title, so there may be a lot of different liens on this house. Okay, the next most expensive house is in North Providence on Smith Street, and it's $439,000. This house was built in 1880. It's 5 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. Good, wow. Imagine having 5 people trying to take a shower or use the bathroom in that house. So that's the range of houses that we have. There are only 14 for sale. Excuse me, in the entire state. So, yes, foreclosures are increasing. But, these are, even that house, it says for $775,000, it's a cash buyer. That's going to have to be a pretty significant buyer, because you're going to spend $750,000, and you still have to dump a ton of money into the house because it looks like it looks terrible. It needs so much work. There's a lot of, junk in the yard. And they don't have any interior photographs, which is not a good sign. Usually when I don't put interior photographs of a property, that means it's full of junk or it's in such terrible disrepair. Alright, so this says significant disrepair. Could be amazing. So this might be something where you knock the house down and build something else, because it is in Little Compton. It's almost an acre of land. Okay, and then let's see, for sewer, it has a cesspool, so that's another chunk of change right there to put a new septic system in. And then of course for water, you probably have well water, so you're going to have to deal with that. Oh no, it says they're connected for water supply, so you don't have to worry about water. So just to set the septic system. Okay, so I don't believe they have sewers where this house is, so you'd have to pay for a new septic system. That could be another, 15, 20, 30,000 bucks, depending on the lot. So yes, foreclosures are increasing, but it's a very, very small percentage, because again, even if it doubled, if we went up to 28 foreclosures, doubling what we have right now, that would still only be about 2.25%, okay, of all listings. So it's a very small number. And when you buy a foreclosed home, okay, one of the ones we just said, subject to clear title, that may mean that they don't have, there may be other liens against the property. So many times when people are in dire financial straits, you can't make payments excuse me, on other bills. And so sometimes some credit cards, car loans, they will put a lien against your property if you own a home. So those could be other liens that need to be discharged. So in this house here, for $775,000, let's assume that that's what the mortgage is, and then on top of that, you have to budget, you have to pay off, car loans or credit cards, or there won't be any sewer liens because it's a cesspool. There could be mechanics liens against the property. Those all need to be negotiated out. Okay? So it's not for the faint of heart, as we like to say. So let's say if this house were completely done over, or you built a new house on this lot, yeah, maybe you'd have $1.5 million, $1.5 million property. But the ticket to entry is $775,000, and then you'd have to knock it down and build something new. Okay, so it's not that easy. And again, that's only after you clear out any title issues that may exist. Okay. So, folks, you're listening to the Joe Luca Real Estate Show right here on WNRI 99.9 on the FM dial, 1380 AM, and streaming at WNRI.com. We're here every Tuesday evening, 6 to 7, and we rebroadcast the show Saturdays at 1 p.m., so you can tune in then if you don't catch all of the show. Sorry, I've got this frog in my throat tonight. Now, a friend of mine, another realtor, she's up in Massachusetts, she posted this thing on Instagram today, and I saw it, and I was like, wow, that is a great idea. So I sent her a message that I was going to steal it, talk about it on the show tonight. Her name's Luisita, and she's a real special lady. And she had put this thing on. It says, if you're thinking about buying a home, some questions to think about are, 1, are you financially ready or just emotionally ready? Now, what that means is, I want to buy a home. I'm so tired of paying rent. I want to have my own place where I can have a garden or a garage, or, the image of owning a home is big. I make enough money now so I can pay to have my own mortgage. But are you financially ready? Just because you can qualify for a mortgage, it's not just that. You need to be prepared because you want to, 1, try and get the lowest mortgage rate possible. Pay down other debts. Improve your credit. If you have good credit, what can you do to maybe make it excellent credit? If you have poor credit, maybe you can improve it so it's fair credit. If you have fair credit, push it up to good credit. Because the higher your credit score is, the lower your monthly payment is going to be. Whatever your situation is right now, you are not destined to have that credit score for the rest of your life. And if you want to know what you can do to improve your credit score, give me a call tomorrow, 401-409-5030. Send me a text or call 401-409-5030. I generally ask people to text me first because, my job, I spend a lot of time on the phone, so I can't always pick up the phone call when it comes in. But if you send me a text, I will get back to you as soon as I hang up the phone from whomever I'm speaking to. But, so, are you financially ready or just emotionally ready to buy a home? Things you want to do are check your savings, your credit, and timing before you start touring houses. So savings, that's pretty, straightforward. Checking your credit, again, we all know how to do that. I want to caution you, if you go to one of the websites that's advertised on television or online to get a free credit report, that's not the credit report that banks look at, lenders look at, when determining what your rate is going to be for a mortgage. Okay, those are generally for like car loans, credit cards, things like that, store charges. That's what that credit report is for. So what you want to do is talk to a mortgage professional. Okay, and again, I will repeat the name and number of my 2 buddies, Jeff Gaccione, Gaccione, at Embrace Home Loan, 401-419-6734, again, 419-6734, and, hold on a minute, I was just looking up Jeff Gamash's number, that's not the right one. And then the other one is my buddy Dave Campagnone at Bank 5. His number is 401-413-9619. Dave Campignone at Bank 5, or Jeff Gaccione, excuse me, they can tell you where you stand, okay? You can call both of them, you can call one, whatever. If you like the name Dave better than Jeff or Jeff better than Dave, you can't go wrong with either one. But they will help you determine where you are. If you can qualify, if you can do things to improve your credit so you can get a better rate, they'll give you the information. And then timing, okay? Things, when you're looking to buy a home, all things being equal, if we start looking for a home on today, let's say, October 30th, we start looking, we find something, we have an offer accepted, let's say in 30 days we find a house, get an offer accepted. Typically we'll close about 30 days plus or minus after that. So November 30th, December 30th, oh wait, December, that's right after Christmas. I can't do that. We've got a vacation plan. We're going skiing up, whatever. You need to think about the logistics like that. Because, okay, if you still want to buy a house, can you change that trip? Can you push up the closing? Can you push out the closing? The timing is important. If you have kids, then you have to worry about schools, okay? If you're staying in the same district, in the same town, no biggie. Usually people move to a different town or a different part of town when they're moving. So that could present a problem too. So maybe you want to make a move during a school vacation, okay? Many times if it's within the same town, the same city or town, you can finish up the school year at that same school and then after the summer break start in the new district, okay? But yeah, so that's something over there. Next, listen carefully. This is very important. Preparation beats motivation every time. Okay? This is another way of saying what I say every week. Plan your work and then work your plan. Or as my high school biology teacher always said, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Okay? You need to prepare. You can be the most motivated person to go out and buy a home or sell your home. But if you don't start the process, getting yourself ready, getting your finances ready, organizing your life, getting rid of, because if you're going to be moving, whether you're buying or selling, get rid of as much stuff as possible, because it'll be that much less stuff that you have to pay a mover or that you have to pack. So if it means putting stuff on Facebook Marketplace to sell it or put it for free, put it on Craigslist, bringing it to Goodwill or Savers or Salvation Army, start the process. Again, these are things that work whether you're buying or selling. You want to try and cull down the amount of stuff that you have to carry from point A to point B. And I'll use myself as an example. I did not do that before I moved. I kept all my stuff. I had the movers move the important things, like the furniture. Then all the stuff that was in the attic and the garage, I paid some guy, and yours truly, we rented a U-Haul and made the move 2 miles from house 1 to house 2. And I'm fortunate that I'm physically able to do all of that stuff, so it wasn't a big deal. But, if I were more, back then, I don't think Facebook Marketplace was what it is now, but I could have certainly utilized Facebook Marketplace to get rid of a lot of stuff, okay? So, after you do all of these things, whether you call me first before you start them, or if you do them on your own, when you do it, then you can call me, and now we can hit the ground running. If you don't know where to start, give me a call. Again, 401-409-5030. Call or text that number, and we can have a meeting, either face-to-face, over the phone, over the computer, whichever you're comfortable with. And we'll put together a plan, a written plan, okay, to help you reach your real estate goals. Now, you might be listening and say, well, Joe, I don't want to use a realtor. I want to sell it myself. That's fine. Okay. Reach out. I'll send you a packet just for people who are looking to sell their home on their own. Okay, because there are a lot of things I guarantee you that you're not aware of. And if you are aware of things you should or shouldn't do, you don't know how to get them done. I can deliver all of that for you. You just have to reach out to me at 401-409-5030. Shoot me a text with your name, your phone number, email, whatever, and we can take care of that for you. Now, I just want to point out, being ready is not just not feeling ready. Okay? Being ready means being calm and having your numbers under control. Some things you want to be aware of is, as I said, your credit. How much debt you have. How good of a handle do you have on your monthly bill payments? How steady is your income? Okay? Having all of this stuff addressed up front creates a sense of calmness, and having that sense of calmness always leads to a smoother closing, because there's nothing worse than a week before closing or 2 weeks before closing, your loan officer asks you for things or asks you to provide things, or things pop up on your credit that weren't there before, and we have a surprise. We want to avoid that at all costs. So that's why I'm very select with the lenders that I refer my clients to and the closing and title companies that we use, because we try to identify potential surprises early in the process. Okay. Now, also, if you're a buyer, inventory has been rising, but it's still a competitive market. So don't think that you can come in and just shoot a lowball number at a seller, because these sellers would rather let the house sit than take a haircut in their mind. Now, maybe their house is overpriced. Okay, I was talking with someone this afternoon, and she was telling me her ex-husband is trying to sell the house, and she told him it was overpriced, and a month and a half ago she told him that, and he just decided, okay, I'm going to drop the price $30,000, because he wouldn't listen to his realtor. So he let it sit on the market for a month and a half, priced too high. And when you do that, folks, a lot of people, they'll go, either they never see the house because it's just priced out of the range they're looking at. So when people put in search criteria, they might be searching up to $500,000. So if you're priced at $550 or $525, not going to show up. You're only going to show up to the people that are looking at houses up to, let's say, $600,000. Okay, and now you might be outpositioned, because if your house is priced at $550 and it should be at $520, and they're looking at other houses that are $550 and you get so much more at those houses, your house is just not going to compete. So then what happens is you end up chasing the market down. Okay, so listen to your realtor. It's still a competitive market if you are selling, but and if you are buying. But you can't get greedy. You can't put lowball offers in and expect it to get accepted unless you're giving unbelievable terms. And if you're selling, you can't price it through the ceiling and expect to get activity, never mind offers. Okay? So, across New England, listings are up 20% compared to last year. Actually, I think that's even higher in Rhode Island, if my memory serves me. So this gives buyers more choices and a little bit better leverage. Now, what I've observed is that, buyers will come through and they'll look at my listing and, wow, they really like the house and it's this and it's that great. And you think they're going to put an offer in, and then I call their agent up, and the agent is like, well, they like the house, but they just want to wait, see if there's anything else out there that, doesn't have whatever it is. Okay, that's a different color. It has this stairway, wider stairs, something peculiar like that. People are not rushing. They're saying, I don't want to have to take this. And since there are more houses coming on the market at a faster rate than before, maybe I'll find something that I like better. Okay, it's kind of like the Goldilocks thing. As a good realtor, what we have to do is we have to point out the likelihood of them finding something, you know, it's not too hard, not too soft, not too hot, not too cold. It's just right, like Goldilocks wanted. And letting them know that, you know what, this is a really nice house. If you want to keep looking, we'll keep looking. But it's going to be tough to match the 9 out of 10 things that we found in this house. Now, maybe that last thing it's missing is super important to you. Great, okay. What I try to do with my buyers in that regard is I try to say, hey, what are 3 things that you absolutely have to have no matter what in the next house that you buy? And then what are 3 things that are absolute non-starters that you would not ever buy a house if it had one or all of these 3 things? Okay. So some people have different things. Sometimes there are cultural considerations. Some people from certain cultures need the house to be facing a certain way with regard to sunrise, etc. Some people have to have a ranch single level. Some people don't want a basement. Some people have to have a basement. Who needs a garage? Who doesn't care? I want to be close to the highway. I do not want to hear any traffic. These are all things that are significant to some people. Okay? So, we need to pay attention and listen to what your real estate professional is telling you. Even though inventory is up 20% across New England, we are still below pre-pandemic inventory levels. Now, what this means is, yes, houses are staying on the market longer, but the best houses on the market, they're still moving fast. Okay? Because there aren't a lot of really good cream puff houses. Those would be the ones that would sell quick. Those would be the ones most likely that would go at or over asking price. But if you've got some issues with the house, you should expect it not to go super fast. Okay? And again, 2010, 11, 12, houses routinely were on the market for 6, 9, 12 months. I was talking to a colleague of mine today, and he's like, oh boy, if it doesn't sell in 6 or 7 days, okay, but if it does, it's got to sell within 2 weeks. I don't want us to wait any longer. I'm like, really? Do you hear yourself right now? You've been in the business longer than me. You know what the market can do. Be patient, relax. Perspective. And as part of our job as real estate professionals to educate our clients, our buyers, and our sellers about the realities of the market. Okay? Sometimes everything is right, and you may not see it, but that's where you have to pay attention to cues and tips that your real estate professional, that your realtor is giving you. Okay? So this could be the perfect time to buy a house. Okay, we're coming into the colder months. Typically, fewer people want to go out looking at houses on the weekend. You know, back in the day when the Patriots were doing good, if the Patriots were playing, especially if they made it to the playoffs, don't have an open house at that time or on that day, because not many people would come to the open house. Okay, so pay attention to that. Because there are fewer buyers out there, you may have a little bit of a competitive edge. Okay, because every other buyer that's out there that's looking for houses like you, the same type of house, that's your competition. So if you can do anything to reduce the competition, even if it's timing, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. Okay. Folks, it's about 10 minutes before the hour. You're listening to the Joe Luca Real Estate Show. I'm Joe, your host every Tuesday from 6 to 7. and we rebroadcast the show Saturdays at 1 p.m. Hopefully, I've given you some valuable information tonight about the real estate market. Now, just want to give you a quick tease for what's on the market right now. Some of the new listings that hit the market today, fresh off the press, as they say. Let's see, we're going to organize by price. Put my glasses on so I can read this. Okay, so let's see here. So we've got a good number of new listings. The cheapest house, the cheapest single-family home is 290. That's a condo, actually. Okay, so there's a cottage in West Warwick. Now, this is a cottage which is $290,000. It's not very big. It's only about. This is a summer cottage. This is what this is. It's 360 square feet. Okay, and that's in West Warwick. And there is, let's see. Oh no, it's not leased land. Okay, it's a 5,000 square foot lot. But that's a tiny house, $290,000. All right, so that is the least expensive single-family home that hit the market today. Okay, and then if we're looking at the most expensive home that hit the market today, we'd be looking at a house in Portsmouth on East Main Road. Actually, it's not a house, it's land for $1.5 million. There was a house in North Kingstown for $1.395, $1,395,000 on Sylvan Court in North Kingstown. Just hit the market today. Let's see, taxes are just about $12,000 a year. It's a 3,800 square foot house above grade, 1,000 square feet below grade, and it's on a half acre of land. It is, how many bedrooms is this? 4 bedrooms and 2.5 baths, 10 rooms total. This is a big house. It's in Slocum Woods. Beautiful patio, typical center hall colonial layout, big kitchen with a big island. But that's what you should expect for $1.4 million. Okay. So that's kind of the range of properties that we have coming on the market right now. If we were to look at, multifamily homes, let me see, what is the least expensive multifamily home here that came on the market today? Let's see. Alrighty. Multifamily. Yeah, we don't have too many multifamilies that have come on the market. Yeah, nothing came on the market today for multifamilies. So it's very interesting. Multifamilies are still, oh no, I'm sorry, I missed some. Okay, we've got a few. Fall River, Pawtucket, Providence, East Providence, East Greenwich, Narragansett. And these houses, let's see, you're looking at up to $750,000 from the least expensive $369,000. That's in Fall River. So not a lot of multifamily houses on the market. Okay, we just had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hit the market today. 7. Okay, out of 65 houses that hit the market, only 7 are multifamilies. So folks, we're coming up to the last few minutes of the show. I just want to do a quick shout out. Pay attention, because next up is the Old Time Preaching Ministry. Rick Murney is going to come, and he's going to give you some good, valuable information that will help you conduct your life in a God-fearing way. And I mean that in as positive way as possible, because there is something out there that's greater than us, our Creator, and He gives so much to us, and we should be grateful for that, and be thankful for that, and share that goodness with everyone else. The most important thing that Jesus asks us to do is to love one another. Okay, and we should try and share that um, as much as possible every day. Okay, be grateful for what we're given, and express goodness and love for other human beings, whether we know them or not. And I say love, and not in the sense that people usually think of love as when we talk about it today, but just kind of having that open soul to other people, and anything you can do to help people who are in need. Whether it's helping somebody, get in and out of the house, go up the stairs, down the stairs, if it's helping somebody who may be hitting some hard times, these are the types of things that can make us better people, can make us feel better about ourselves, and help other people in the process. And that's why I try to encourage everyone to stay tuned to 99.9 FM, 1380 AM, or at WNRI.com, streaming to listen to Rick Mernier. He's coming up in a few minutes, a little after 7, because it's valuable information that can really enlighten you and help you conduct your life in a more positive manner. And of course, if you're happy and you're enjoying life, you're going to be in a much better position to become a homeowner or a home seller. I'm trying to tie this back into real estate. I was going off on a tangent there, but I'm very passionate about, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm also very passionate about my job, helping people buy and sell homes, because it's the biggest financial transaction you're probably going to engage in your entire life. If it's not, probably the next home you buy will be the largest financial transaction of your life. But I try to do everything and how I conduct myself in my business in accordance with what my Lord and Savior would like. So hopefully that is something that makes my clients feel better, and hopefully everybody listening also. I don't want to get too lectury, but hopefully you guys can get that feeling from me. And that's why I have this show. I mean, the show is to provide information to you, the consumer, so you can learn more about buying or selling real estate, because many times people have no idea where to start, what to do, what not to do. And I try to provide a lot of free information, whether you're working with me, you're not working with me, whether you're doing it on your own, selling your home. If you're buying a home, you really, 100 times over should have a real estate professional helping you, because there are so many things that you can overlook, whether you're buying a house to live in or as an investment. I've been in thousands of homes. I've helped more people than I can count buy and sell homes. I've managed property. I've done flips. I can share all that information for you. Of course, I'm compensated for my services, but it's a very small percentage compared to the value that you get. So if you're buying or selling a home, hopefully you get some value from listening to this show. I thank you very much for tuning in to the Joe Luca Real Estate Show. We will be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel, right here, WNRI 99.9 FM. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.